And welcome to your second lecture on monstrosity and autoethnography, so you can have some prompts for this unit. We're going to be talking about stories of the Cyclops and the Minotaur, which are monsters of difference. Now, just do a quick overview. Remember, watch the videos on the Cyclops and the Minotaur before this lecture, but just for a memory, note the Cyclops is a strange other. We know that they are otherworldly, they are not human, they are different and scary, most often by their large one eye, although there are some artworks that show them with 3 eyes. They're always secluded, kept away from people and the other gods. In some stories, they are barbaric and dangerous and living on an island, herding sheep, not very smart and eating people, overcoming them with their strength. In other stories, they're skilled and useful. They're blacksmiths, able to make magical weapons for the gods in order to control the world. So, the stories of Cyclops in your life. Stories of Cyclops are the stories of the mysterious or the dangerous others around you. Those people you say that are not like you. They're different. We stay away from them. They make us uncomfortable. Perhaps there's been times where you've felt like that mysterious and dangerous other that people are rejecting and avoiding. Oftentimes, these mysterious others only find access into a culture when they have a skill that they're useful for, like the blacksmith's ability to make magical weapons. So in this type of situation, it might be access to a particular understanding, the ability to speak a language, the ability to create something, the ability to solve academic or social problems that others don't have, to build something that others are unable to build. That is that idea of when you become useful and a monster that people want to invite in on certain terms and certain conditions, right? The Cyclops aren't invited to be within the gods or the human world, but have access to both through their ability to make weapons. Often when you think of stories of Cyclops, it's a story of a marginalized body. Someone who is marginalized by having a disability, by being a minority race or ethnicity. Oftentimes people from the LGBT community will say they feel like monsters because of their sexuality, being seen as different, dangerous, able to corrupt others. You can think of this idea of when not wanting trans people to come in the bathroom because they're dangerous, or not wanting LGBT people to be able to have access to children because they could corrupt them. That idea is that we can look at it in that way too. Oftentimes, throughout history, there was this idea that white women had to be kept safe from black men, and that was a monster culture created in order to be able to marginalize black men in that way. Size, we think of fat phobia, where people devalue people that are larger, as well as mental illness, saying that person is crazy, they're scary, keep away from them. When I think of stories of moments of feeling the monstrosity of the Cyclops, I think of a close friend of mine who tells the story of whenever she's getting on a plane, she has a sense of dread because she is a large person and she knows that look of disgust and disappointment whoever has to sit beside her on the plane. So think about, have you assigned someone the role of monster? Have you been a monster in their story? Okay, stories of the Minotaur. Remember, Poseidon sends a beautiful white bull to King Minos, who he wants to have sacrificed to him. Minos doesn't want to. He sacrifices a regular bull instead. Of course, the revenge comes on the woman rather than directly on the king himself. And his wife falls desperately in love with the bull to the point that she convinces the master craftsman to create a way for her to be able to be impregnated by the bull while she tries to take care of this baby that has a bull's head in human form. It is an increasingly dangerous beast that Minos decides can be used in order to rule over others. So he has a labyrinth created for the Minotaur to be lost in, and then he puts young men and women and girls and boys from another country into the labyrinth to be eaten. Actually, from Crete, the children are coming from Athens to be eaten. Eventually, the Minotaur is killed by his rival's sons with his daughter's help. So, that is the story of the Minotaur. Of course, you have already watched the video to get all of the more in-depth answers to that. And looking at that, stories of the Minotaur sometimes are stories of attachment or a desire that cannot be realized. The fact that Minos wanted to keep this beautiful bull, he ends up with his wife being attracted to that bull because of the spell of Poseidon, and he is therefore, they are not able to enjoy that bull. He is not able to live a peaceful life because of the vengeance, because of his desire and attachment to something he was supposed to sacrifice. So you can think of something that you've desired, but just couldn't have. Is there a dream you've let go of, a relationship you've had to let go of that was painful, that was difficult, but would have awful consequences, or had awful consequences because you weren't able to let go? Also, stories of a fear that you avoided or faced. The fact that the people of Athens feared the Minotaur, feared the fact of who was going to be chosen to be consumed by him. Have stories of a fear that you avoided or a fear that you faced. That Minotaur is that otherworldly, strong, mean, bloodthirsty monster that we know exists, and exists because of an attachment, of a desire that the king could not let go of from his gift from the gods, and that therefore lurks, consuming others as a result.